All right, everyone. A lot of people wanted me to weigh in on this. Initially, I wasn't going to, specifically because I actually don't care about it particularly that much. But when you get, 20 messages asking you something, yeah, okay, I'll give in. It's about the Twitch. The Twitch is building a council of people to basically fuck up their website by censoring people. It's decided to nerf itself and go lamestream, I guess, to a greater extent. And one of the people on this is an ADL contributor named Steph Loehr. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, but this individual wears antlers and I guess claims to be like deerkin. Now, otherkin is sort of a thing within, I don't know, it's sort of an offshoot trans movement, I guess you could consider it. It's not always fetishistic, but often sort of ties in with furries at times, but not necessarily. And is also transgendered, and so this individual definitely checks all the boxes for like diversity, and then that's basically what it boils down to. Now, I'm gonna actually go out here on a limb at the hazard of pissing some people off and saying I don't really have a problem with someone putting antlers on and calling themselves otherkin and getting head scratches and moaning on Twitch or whatever. That doesn't bother me. As an avid user of 4chan, I've seen far worse. It's funny because it's become fashionable among some commentators to pretend to actually be like disgusted by things like that. Most of you are just, you don't really, you're being a little bit hyperbolic, I think, maybe for your audience or whatever, there because that's what they expect. I'm not going to do that. And I see some of that going on. What bothers me about this, and the only thing that I personally find meaningful in it, because again, I don't really care about any of the identity bullshit, and it's Twitch, and I don't use Twitch for a good reason. What I care about is that here you've got another example of a Silicon Valley firm, Twitch is a rather large firm, censoring people more, and specifically you have this individual who's got ties to the ADL, is openly laughing about the concept of censoring people, and is rambling about privilege, and it's basically 2017 Redux. It's the same bullshit that we've seen over and over again. And now the natural reaction to this, what will happen, and it's already begun, is that people lash back out. Most of them will be taken in by the ruse, which is, the fact that the person has antlers and claims to be, all sorts of diverse. That will distract them from the meaningful commentary, which is that why are all of these Silicon Valley firms partnering with blatantly politically biased groups and hiring people that openly express that there are groups of people for racial or gender reasons that they have a problem with or that should be less represented because of more reasons. This, to me, is the real issue. But what will happen is all the left-wing and tech publications will run to the defense of this because they want a virtue signal. And then they'll point out all the people that are messaging Loehr with trolling stuff and saying, like, oh, aha, I shoot deer or whatever, like making veiled threats, saying crazy shit. They'll focus on that because it's a more juicy story. And so those that have a legitimate criticism of Twitch for simply having someone there who seems to not only maybe support but enjoy the concept of tech censorship at a high level, who's got crazy ideas about how to reform gaming by going after voice chat, I guess. I guess the idea is that white men are given an unnatural advantage by voice chat or something like that. I don't know, dude. It's gotten all sorts of fucked up. The claims there are bizarre, and the individual there is censorious, is an authoritarian, a lover of the idea that, again, another massive corporation should be screwing around with people that choose to use their systems and their platforms. I, of course, disagree. I think that the Wild West days of the internet were far superior. There was never any actual problem to address, and this is a bunch of virtue signaling. See, companies realized that there was a far left young fringe of the population that was really hip to the tech, and they wanted them to use their services, and so they've driven themselves into a purity spiral, competing to see who can be the most woke. And it's hyper-capitalistic, and these people don't even fucking realize it. I highly doubt that Deergasm person realizes it either. Probably thinks that Twitch is genuinely anything other than a for-profit corporate money-making entity, and that's simply not the case. But as long as they can get away with virtue signaling by simply stacking some diversity council or trust and safety group or their rules with inclusivity and mod diversity, they'll keep doing it because it makes them money. To not do it, they get called out by this same crowd that initially they just wanted money from. That's really the problem. And then, of course, you come and think, all of their corporate offices and stuff, they just happen to be in sunny California, so there's going to be a certain tilt, I think, to the politics of the local population as far as the availability of people who are going to get into tech. I think location might have to do something with that. I think maybe if it were outside of Dallas or something like that, you might have a little bit different of a political skew in some of these boardrooms and a few different strategies. But anyway, I mean, as far as, you know, a Deergasm or whatever, who cares? It's going to do that anyway, whether on Twitch or somewhere else. Stop, again, people on the right start virtue signaling at some point just by pretending to be disgusted by stuff that clearly the individual's not even acting that weird. Okay, got a head massage while happening to wear antlers. Okay, drunken Christmas party, hello, who cares? But they should definitely care about yet another company doing this shit. At some point, the reaction needs to ignore the ruse, basically what it is the facade that the corporations are making, which is you can't criticize this move because look, this person's a Latino, and this person's gay, and that person's a transgender, and this person's trans crippled, and oh look, it's Rachel Dolezal. They basically create a wall around themselves to prevent the company and its censorious policies from being criticized, because the face that they put on those policies is too diverse to criticize without being called sexist, racist, homophobic, bigoted in some manner, ethnocentric, imperialistic, far-right Nazi extremist, which is sort of an oxymoron. That's basically what they're doing. Can't you see that it's a corporate ruse? It's just a branding strategy. But people on the right they lack a proper response because they always fixate on the identity. They always fixate on the face that the corporation has very carefully shown you in order to, in a propagandistic manner, force you to attack ghosts instead of attacking the censorship. It's like people on the right supporting censorship so long as it's coming from people they like. Well, then you're unprincipled. It's the same as these people on the left being absolutely used as pawns by these corporations. And oftentimes, what happened with, there was some legacy media firm and they had all this trust and safety diversity bullshit, and then people there started quitting because they realized that it was still the same old corporate workplace. But they had been led to believe, oh, it's going to be like a far left paradise, and ultimately they were totally kneecapped. That's what will happen with this council too. They'll just be censoring a bunch of people. It won't be to make the platform more diverse or more fair or anything like that, or any happy, shiny, rounded corner rainbow bullshit that was thought up by a trust funder eating nothing but kale and soy. That's not what you're going to get. You're just going to get more money. And these people, they get a little cut. That's about all. Peace out.